Hello everyone, my name is Gary from the ILT team here at Nelson & Cone College Group, and today we're just going to do a quick video to explain how you can use Class Notebook with your learners to help build a collaborative and engaging relationship. Now firstly, once you've accessed your Office 365 account, and whether you've done that through the email tile that's on My Day or used the links that are available through Moodle, you should be greeted with your home screen that looks a little bit like this. If it does not, for whatever reason, you can always go to any application within Office 365 by clicking on the waffle menu up here in the top left hand corner. Whether you're using this menu or this menu here like I've got on my screen, what you want to do is navigate to the Class Notebook app and click on that. Class Notebook is a variant on OneNote. So if those of you that use OneNote for, say, meeting notes and just general organizations, you'll be familiar a little bit with the layout. Class Notebook is a notebook that allows you to add multiple learners to one group. So you can view all of your learners' notebooks at any one time. But your learners will only be able to see their own notebook and anything else that you share with them. They will not be able to see each other's. Once you're in the Class Notebook app, you will be greeted by this screen, and for the starter, we want to create a notebook from scratch. So we're going to go to Create a Class Notebook. Here, we start putting in the name of our class. So for example, this could be Music Level 3. Or it could be A-Level Biology or Vocational Business Studies, whatever your lesson you're teaching. But make sure it's memorable, but make sure it's recognisable, especially if you teach the same course year on year. So it might be worth putting in the years of the course to help differentiate when you start building this over the coming terms. Once you've created the title, go to Next and you'll be greeted by this. The Class Notebook will show you what it will create by default. There are 3 separate sections it will always create by default. The first one is known as the collaboration space. Now this section is where you can put multiple pages that can be edited by both those on the book as a teacher and those on as a student. Everyone can edit, it's a bit of a free range. This is very useful for when you're doing group-based exercises in class. It will then create you a content library. Now this, similar to the collaboration space, is a space where you can put in multiple pages, but these can only be edited by the teacher. The students will only be able to read them and view them and download any attachments you put in. They will not be able to edit the content. And then you will get a student notebook for each learner. So again, teacher can edit any of these sections and pages, and you can add in feedback and text and attach things. Students can only edit their own notebook. They will not be able to edit anybody else's, nor view it for that matter. Once you've clicked OK, it will be then given this screen where you can add other teachers. So if you're on a course where multiple people will be teaching this group, it may be worth adding people in. So if I just add in another staff member here, you'll notice as I type it, it comes up here in the search box. It goes and finds people on our directory. So you shouldn't need to know the exact name of the student. If you just know their surnames or you have a class list by student number, you'll be able to search for them and they will appear here in the menu. Once you've nominated all the teachers, excluding yourself, because it already knows about you because you're creating the notebook, just click Next. From there, it will ask you to add your students, and this works in exactly the same process. So if I was to say Smith, it would give me a big long list. If I need to narrow it down, I can write in the full name as shown before. Once you've added in all of your learners, however many there may be, you can just click on Next and it will take you to this screen. Now this is the final stage. Within each learner's notebook, Class Notebook will give you a number of sections by default, and these are labelled handouts, class notes, homework and quizzes. You are welcome to use these sections if they fit with the ways in which you plan to use the notebook. However, if they don't, you are free to remove them and you are free to actually add your own. So I know in this particular scenario that I'm going to use this notebook in particular for Unit 1, which is a music theory unit. And I'm also going to use it for Unit 4, which is employability. I may use others later on, but I can always add them in at a later date. But just for a starting point, I'm going to do that. By putting these here and clicking Next, Notebook, when it creates your notebook, will automatically add those 2 sections to every learner's notebook. This is a very time-saving exercise, especially if you have lots and lots of learners. Once you get to this stage, you can click on Create, and the notebook will be created. Once inside your class notebook, you will notice that there is a welcome section at the top. This is there by default from class notebook, and it's used as a guide to help staff and students kind of understand just the basic navigational stages of the notebook. So there's videos they can watch, there's various pages they can read through, and there's some basics and some frequently asked questions. Very useful tool. If, however, you get to the stage where you do not need this and you don't want your learners to have it and it's just being a bit of a distraction, you can right click on where it says welcome and press delete section. And that's exactly the same process for any section that you want to delete. We are now in the stage where I want to, I've got my 4 learners here on this example of a notebook, and I want to check on see how their work is going. So I can click on that individual's name, I can go to the section that I want, and I can see what is there. And in this instance, there's nothing on the page. This tells me whether or not my learner is actually doing the work that I set them, but it's also a way for you to go and double check on the notes that they are making within the classroom. So if you're in a scenario where you're saying, right, everyone start making notes, if they use the class notebook, whether that's through their telephone, whether it's through a computer or any other kind of tablet device, it doesn't matter what it is, it will all sync up. You can actually go and check later on what kind of notes is that learner making. This in particular is very useful if you need them to understand particular terminology for an exam or for an endpoint assessment. Creating things in Class Notebook is fairly straightforward. Once you have the section that you want, so for instance here I'm going to go into quizzes and I'm going to create a new quiz. You can add a page by going down here at the bottom where it says plus page. So we're going to add a page in and we're going to give this a title. So this is going to be the Christmas quiz. It's going to be a quiz all about Christmas. And then from here, this is a free notepad. So you can click anywhere on the page and type directly in. It's free form and it will allow you to do that. If you are on a screen, a touch screen in particular, where you can use like a stylus or something in the classroom, you can go to the draw option up here, select either pencil or highlighter, but select the colour that you want. So in this case I'm going to go for a nice purple, and on the touch screen you can start typing it, spelling and drawing out any kind of words or diagrams that you may need. You can also draw in equations and such that you might need. Whatever's easier for you. So the drawing aspect is available. This will also stay on the page, so if they go to the notebook at a later date or at home, they will still see all of your doodles and diagrams and such. So have no fear about it disappearing once you've logged off the screen. If I get to the point where I actually want to add a new section in, because there's going to be a new unit we're going to use the class notebook for, it's been very, very successful, there's a way in which we can do that and save ourselves a lot of time. So the first thing we want to do is create a section for that particular unit. So for instance, I'm going to go to class notebook up here at the top, and I'm going to go to distribute new section. Now what this allows me to do is to tell the notebook that put this section in all of my learners' notebooks for me. So this is going to be employability. We're going to use it for that. I type the name of the section in there and I click distribute, and within a minute or two it will start appearing in all of my learners sections. And there we go. Employability has appeared there in the learner section. Now the other side of it is once you've created your notebook, you can activate what's known as the teacher only section. So this is a section that's only visible to teachers. Now this is a great place to start planning all of your activities and start being able to kind of shape what you will have on the notebook. So in my scenario here, what I've got is I've got my section for employability. Now I've just created that and pushed that out to all of my learners. But as you can see here, I've got 3 pages that I want all of my learners to be able to have access to. Now I could copy and paste the page and paste it onto every single learner section, but if I'm dealing with sort of 20-30 learners, that's going to take me a lot of time. Once again, Class Notebook can help us by going to Class Notebook, and we can select the page we want, in this case CV template, and we can distribute the page. So we go to distribute page, Class Notebook here on the right hand side will open up a menu and it'll say, well, where do you want it to go? In this case we want it to go into employability, and when we click distribute, and now what it'll do is it'll put that page into the employability section on all of our students' notebooks. So then they all have access to the same materials after I've created it. And you can see in the space of a minute or two, it's completely finished and done for you. Big time saving exercise. Finally, your learners are fully able to interact with the pages as well. So obviously they can type directly in, but they can also insert further resources. So if they find a picture or an image that is really beneficial to them as part of their revision or their work or the task that they've been set, they can add in a picture directly from a file on a pen stick or that they downloaded, or they can search online for a picture and add it straight in. You can also attach any kind of file, whether that's a PDF or a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation. You can attach your file onto a page, and that'll be there just as like a little attachment, much like your emails. So therefore, if anybody wants to check it afterwards, you can double click on it and it can download to your computer and you can view that file. And in a very short space of time, you will have a notebook that will be completely collaborative and fluid. There are further developments that will be coming with Class Notebook, and we'll be offering further training and such on them. And if you have any questions about any of the features that we've not covered today, please get in contact with myself or a member of the ALT team. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.